Hey guys, it's Olivia and I'm back with another video. So if you guys have been watching my channel for the past year, then you know that I started driving for Uber Eats in March of 2020. And so this April, right now in April of 2021, is going to be my first year filing taxes as an Uber Eats driver. And so I just wanted to do it with you guys because I know that this is something a lot of people have had questions about. It's even something I've had questions about. And so basically, we're just going to do it together. And then for future tax filing purposes, you guys can come back and watch this video if need be. But before we get into this week's video, be sure to subscribe to my channel because I'm making videos every Monday. I make anywhere from Uber Eats videos to rant videos to pop socket videos. And with all that being said, let's get into this week's video. So one thing I do want to say in regards to filing my taxes, I wanted to be very prepared because I knew this day was going to come. So for the past year, I have been using the Quickbooks Self-Employed app. It's an app in the App Store. You get the first month free, and then I believe another 6 months for half price, and then from that point forward, it's full price, which in Canadian dollars, the full price is $9.99 a month. Also, I am Canadian, so if you are watching this and you're American, then the tax process might not be the same. And so I don't want to mislead anyone who might be from a different country than me. I am specifically in Ontario, Canada. So using the QuickBooks Self-Employed app, I've been tracking my mileage and my expenses and pretty much everything to do with me delivering Uber. So a lot of the numbers I'm going to be referencing are from the QuickBooks Self-Employed app. This video is not sponsored. I pay for the app. I've been paying for it since March of last year. And the reason I pay for it is because it's good. Like literally right as I start driving, it starts tracking my mileage, and when I stop, it says this is how far you've driven. So it's automatic. It automatically tracks my mileage for me. And if I pay for something in regards to my car, I can just scan the receipt in the app, and then I don't have to keep the physical paper receipts, and it's just really good. So that's what I've been using. So the way I'm going to file my taxes today is using TurboTax. And so I'm just on turbotax.intuit.ca. I hope that's how you say it. And you can file your taxes for free through TurboTax. They're going to try and get you to pay like the $29.99 or whatever it is. Like, oh, consult with an advisor. If you want to do that, that's cool. I'm not doing that because if I see free, I'm getting free. Okay? So let's go over to my computer screen. So we're just on the TurboTax website. And then here it says file for $0. So I'm going to click that. If you don't have an account, you're going to create an account. But as you can see, TurboTax is affiliated with QuickBooks. So then I just use my QuickBooks login for TurboTax. So I'm just going to do that real quick. So when I first log in, I've used TurboTax in the past to file my taxes. I used it last year for the first time. And so it's saying that it will use my info from last year to get started on this year. I assume like my name, address, social insurance number, it has all of that already. So I won't have to enter that. So I'll let it do that. And see, throughout the process, they're going to keep trying to get you to pay. So this is the recommended one, and it's $11.99, and this one's $19.99. No, we're continuing with free. This is going to pop up multiple times throughout the process, and we're always going to click free. Yes, I'm sure. Continue with free. And even though I just told them I'm sure, it's still going to ask me later on. Okay, so let's get started. Who are you preparing this return for? Myself. And my name is Olivia. I am single, and my marital status did not change. Continue. Do I have any children, or do I financially support another person? No. Continue. And then, oh, okay, so I have to fill in my personal information, like my name, birth date, social insurance number, all that stuff. Are you filing an income tax return with CRA for the first time? No, this isn't my first time filing my taxes. Yes, I am a Canadian citizen. No, I'm not a Canadian Indian as defined in the Indian Act. And do I need to file any previous tax returns? No, I don't. Continue. In December of 2020, I lived in Ontario. Did I move? No, I did not. Did my residency change? No. Is my mailing address outside of Canada? No. And then it's asking me my mailing address, so I'm going to enter that quickly. Did I change my mailing address? No, I did not. Did I own any foreign property? No. Dispose of a property? No. Incarcerated? No. Mental or physical impairment? No. Do I have any of the following accounts? No, I do not. Continue. So you can import your tax info from the CRA. So if you work for someone and you get like sent T4s and stuff in the mail, then I assume that's also on your CRA account, and then you can just import everything. But since I assume everyone watching this is self-employed with Uber, then I don't think this applies. So I'm just going to click continue, and I'll skip the autofill and then move on to the rest of my tax info. So now I've completed my tax profile and then gathering my income related information. So this is where the Quickbooks is going to come into play. So this is asking me to fill out a T4, but I do not have a T4. So if anything will come back, but I don't think I have to fill this out. So I'm going to skip the T-slip section because I don't have one. This is where we're going to go. On the left-hand side, go to this self-employment section. Click that and then click self-employment profile. So this is the part we're going to fill out because we're self-employed. Okay, so this is professional, commission, and or other type of business. I assume Uber falls under other. I'm going to select that box and continue. Now, once again, trying to get me to upgrade for the low price of $44.99. Now, continue without upgrade. You will need the following to complete your business statement: identification of your business name and address, receipts for all income and expenses generated, identification of your partners if applicable, list of assets you already own or purchased that you used in your business, motor vehicle expenses including interest and leasing costs, office in-home expenses. So let's click continue. Other type of business. Continue. So fiscal period. I started on March 10th. So the 10th of March 2020, and I did it until the end of 2020. It is not my final year of business. So I'm kind of confused by this. Like, I just did a quick Google search and it says that this is the correct form I have to fill out. But then for business name, do I put Uber? And for business address, do I just put my address? Okay, yes. So I will put the link that I'm looking at below about everything you need to include on this T2125 form for those of us in Canada. I'll have the link in the description because it states everything that you need and what you need to put on this page. So for operation period or fiscal period, put when you started and ended. And then for address, use your personal address. So that is what I'm going to do. So for the business name, for right now, I've left it blank. I don't know if it will let me continue to leave it blank, but right now I just left it blank. Put my address and then pretty much skipped everything else. And then I get to income. And then I'm going to use the numbers within the Quickbooks app. So one thing you can do is go to the Quickbooks Self-Employed app if you, in fact, use this. Go to taxes on the bottom right, and then click Tax Summary Report. And then for time frame, select the year you want. For us, we want 2020. And then it's going to send it to your email. So then I click send. And then if I go to my email, I have an email from QB Self-Employment Team. And then right here is the PDF of my tax summary. So I'm going to be using these numbers to fill in these boxes. Okay, so once again, back on the TurboTax link that I'm going to link down below about what you need to put on this form. For sales commissions or fees, report your total gross income from ride sharing, including taxes. So in this box right here, I need to put the gross amount that I made from Uber, which is $15,339.02. Then when we scroll down to expenses, this, you don't include your vehicle expenses yet. That is for a later page during this process. So here you can report booking fees, service fees, ride sharing fees, expenses such as meals, food or water services you provide for clients, parking fees during pickup and delivery, telephone, airtime, business use portion only, license fees to work as a driver. These I don't think I have to fill out because all of my expenses are for my car. So if you have other expenses, you would fill this out, but this is not the section for your vehicle expenses. Hi, future Olivia here. I'm revising what I just said. There are other things on this page that you can fill in. So under the expenses, I did not see the part for gross meals and entertainment. So for me, while I was out driving, if I stopped for food, I consider that a meal expense. And so for me, that expense was $299. And then when it came to supplies, I bought this phone in 2020, which is the phone that I use for Uber. And so I claimed the cost of this phone, which was $1,739.07. And then for telephone and utilities, that is my actual phone bill. And so my phone bill for the year was $790. So scroll down some more. Other amounts deductible from your share of net partnership income. I don't need to fill that out. Calculation of business use of home expenses, no. Details of partners other than yourself, no. And then details of equity, I don't need to fill that out. Continue. Okay, so it says I need to put the name of my business. I'm just going to put Uber Eats driver. And then continue. Motor vehicle expenses summary. So I would like to add a vehicle for business use. Another thing with the QuickBooks self-employed app is you can say what mileage is for what. So for example, when school was in person and I was driving to school, well then I would mark that as personal, and then when I was driving for Uber, I would mark it as business. So the mileage that I have here is just what I've done for business. Describe my vehicle, make and model. I have a Toyota Prius. Total kilometers driven during tax year. So it doesn't tell me my total kilometers, but it tells me the amount of kilometers I've driven for business, which is 16,158. And it tells me that that is 76.57% of my total kilometers driven, which means 16,158 is 76.57% of my total. So then I just took that number, divided it by 0.7657, and that means that my total kilometers driven was 21,102. 21,102. And my total kilometers driven, $16,158. Cost of fuel and oil. So let me go to taxes for 2020. So motor vehicle expenses. I put pretty much everything here, from gas to insurance to everything. So now I'm going to have to calculate them separately. So let me do that. Okay, so on oil changes and gas, I spent $1,255.95 in the year of 2020. So 1255.95. Cost of insurance. Once again, gotta calculate that. On car insurance, I spent $2,345.33. 2345.33. Cost of registration fees. I don't recall having to pay anything related to that. Cost of maintenance and repairs. Let me do some calculations. So for maintenance and repairs, $992.03. Cost of business parking. Haven't had to pay for parking. Cost of supplementary business insurance. Nothing. Interest expenses for vehicle, not applicable to me. Leasing costs, not applicable to me. Capital cost allowance for vehicle. You can write off eligible costs over time in the form of depreciation. Your per year claim depends on how your vehicle is classified by CRA. I think I'll just leave that alone. If you sold the vehicle during the year, I didn't sell the vehicle, so no. And then continue. Hello, future Olivia here again. So, once again, some boxes that I have now sought clarification for from my dad. So, before, I didn't put anything in cost of registration fees. For the sticker on my car was $240 for 2 years, so I put that in. And then for the capital cost allowance for my vehicle, I did end up filling this out because I actually bought my vehicle in 2020. So my vehicle is a class 10, and the day I got my vehicle was the 14th of February 2020. And then I put that if I'm eligible for any of these things, then yes, I would like to claim it. The total cost of my vehicle was $3,900 because I bought it used and that was the price of it. And yes, and then I still selected no for this. So I did end up filling out the CCA section for my vehicle. Wait a second. I put add a vehicle for business use when I should have clicked add a vehicle for Olivia, because this is vehicles used by all partners jointly, vehicles used only by Olivia. So basically, I'm just going to redo everything I just did, but just put it under my own name. So let me do that real quick. So basically, in order to remedy that, I'm going to click add a vehicle for me, fill in all my stuff. And then, as you can see, I have the same vehicle twice. And then I'm just going to delete the one for partners and click yes. And then I just have the one under my name. So yeah, I filled in the exact same boxes with the exact same information. I just switched it to my name. Then I am done with vehicles. Do you need to reconcile your 2020 business income? You have to reconcile your business income if the fiscal period of your business does not end on December 31st, 2020. Okay, so no, it doesn't need to be reconciled. So this is my business summary. My net income turns out to be $11,821.88. And I am done with business income. Employment insurance premiums. On self-employment and other eligible earnings, self-employed individuals can contribute employment insurance and contributions. As a self-employed individual, you must have registered online in 2020 or earlier with Canada Employment Insurance Commission to participate in the program. Have you entered into an agreement online with Canada Employment Insurance Commission in 2020 or earlier? No, I have not. So I don't have any self-employment insurance. Investment tax credit, expenditures for certain certified property, qualified expenditures for SR and ED, qualified property acquired after 1994 or renounced Canadian exploration expenses, apprenticeship job, apprenticeship job creation tax credit, property bought or expenditures made before 2020, scientific research and experimental development expenses, SRD. Olivia, are you claiming scientific research and experimental development expenses? No, I'm not. So I'm not checking any of these boxes, and I'm not claiming scientific research. Location of my business is Ontario. Continue. Here's my income summary. Net self-employment income, $11,821.88. And click continue. And once again, they want me to pay. No thanks. Don't upgrade. I already said no, I wasn't eligible for this. Continue. I'm located in Ontario. Continue. Don't upgrade. Why is it bringing me in a circle? Okay. RRSPs, I don't have any of those. So continue. Continue. I don't have any to report. Deductions. Okay, so this isn't Uber related, but I do have student loan deductions that I can make, so I'm just gonna go through this part quickly. Let's maximize your provincial credits and deductions. So this is going to be specifically for Ontario. Everything else I did at this point was federal, and this is provincial. So let's look at this. So it automatically checked this for me, so I'm going to keep that. And I don't qualify for the others, so continue. Okay, so for the climate action incentive, Olivia, at any time in 2020, were you exempted from income tax in Canada because you were an officer or servant of the government of another country? A family member who resided with such a person or an employee of such a person? No. Was a children's special allowance paid for your care in 2020? No. Continue. I am eligible. Let's see how much I qualify for. Did I reside outside of any of these places? No. Continue. So I qualify for a $300 credit. Continue. And then my summary. Continue. And then review. So pretty much filing my student loans put me under. I don't know why. I'm kind of confused because I don't know why I would owe them money. Like, if I didn't pay tuition, the government would owe me an $800 return. But because I did pay my tuition, now I owe them money. So it's like, if I didn't pay you money, you'd owe me money. But because I've paid you money, now I owe you more money. I'm a little bit confused about that. But I know that I filled out the whole Uber part correctly, which is what you guys came here for. So we'll forget about the student loan part for the time being. Income summary, RRSP, credits, deductions, provincial tax summary, and then continue. And then, no, I don't want to add an expert for $80. No thanks. And then here's a bunch of reviews, done with warnings. We have detected errors in your tax return. We strongly recommend you correct them before submitting your tax return. Click a fix button. You have entered an invalid industry code. I don't have an industry code. So I literally just typed Uber Eats driver industry code into Google. So basically you need the industry code for local messengers and local delivery. So that code as of right now is 492210. So that is the code that I am going to copy and paste. Continue. No, I don't want to pay for your package. So as of right now, I owe the government $573.80 for a reason I don't understand. But continue. File now and pay your tax balance later. And so basically that's it. That is everything you need to fill out. And then I can file this now, pay later, or I can go here and pick a payment method and pay now. But that's pretty much it. That's how you file your taxes. Doing Uber, that's everything that you need to fill out for those specific boxes. And yeah, so I got all of my numbers from the QuickBooks Self-Employed app. And yes, I kind of grouped everything together, like these were my vehicle expenses, blah, blah, blah. And then it asked me to separate them into maintenance fees and gas and oil and all that stuff. So then I had to go into my subcategory of vehicle expenses and then go through them one by one to calculate exactly what was allotted where, but it still made it a lot easier because I had it all within the app. Okay, editing Olivia here. I just want to clarify something. So the only reason why I owe money is because I filed my tuition. Why my student deduction ended up making me owe, I don't know. That's besides the point. But what I'm trying to say is that if you are an Uber driver and you are not a student, then you're going to be in the positives like I was until I filed my tuition. So you needn't worry about owing hundreds of dollars on your taxes because I assume a lot of you guys aren't students. Also, that big number was there before I went back in and adjusted those boxes. So you know how future me kept popping up and saying, oop, actually I did fill in this box. So that $500 that I owed was before I went back and filled in those boxes. But then in editing, I made it look like I filled out those boxes before I saw that big number, but in reality, I filled out those boxes afterwards. So after I filled in those boxes, I was at around $100 that I owed. And then after I filed my YouTube income and everything, now my final balance that I owe is around $50. So yes, once again, if you're not a student, then you're not going to be putting in your tuition number. So then you're not going to go from high green, like $800+ to low red. And also, even if you are a student and you're putting in these numbers, if you don't miss the boxes like I did the first time, then you're not going to be that deep in the red. Does that make sense? So if you put in the numbers correctly the first time, then you shouldn't be that deep in the red. And if you're not a student, you should never see red in the first place. I hope I explained that well. Back to past me. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That is how you file your taxes in Canada using TurboTax as an Uber Eats driver. This was my first time doing it, but I had my reference websites, which I will link below, and I had pretty much everything I needed within the QuickBooks Self-Employed app. But yeah, that is all for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was informational. If it was, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you think your friends will enjoy it, or if you know someone who needs to see this, be sure to share it with them. All my social media links will be down below in case you want to follow me on there. Be sure to subscribe to my channel because I make new videos every Monday, and I'll see you next Monday with a new video.